Hey, beautiful beings, welcome in. And whether you're watching this in the morning or the afternoon or the evening, I hope you are having a good one, whatever time you are watching this. So I was asked in my Facebook group if I would do a bit of a video around microdosing. So in this video, I'm just going to be sharing what microdosing is, what are the benefits, and my experience as well. Just so hopefully it might be able to give you some of the answers, like I said, that I most commonly get asked around it. So the first thing, what is microdosing? So microdosing basically involves taking roughly between 0.1 and 0.25 grams of a psychedelic or a plant medicine. So this may be psilocybin, which is the mushrooms. Some people have done it with LSD. There's a book by a lady called Arlene, can't remember her surname, which is available on Kindle. She microdosed LSD for a year. And there is another lady that I know who is microdosing fly agaric tinctures. So there is different ways to microdose, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to be focusing on microdosing psilocybin. So what are the benefits of this? So there's a really brilliant book called The Psilocybin Mushroom Companion Bible by a lady called Michelle Janakian. I hope I've pronounced that right, Janakian. I'll put the link to her book in the comments below. And for me, this was one of the best books to read, because when she was talking about how psilocybin works on the brain, it was all very much from an emotional perspective rather than just like a factual perspective. But in her book is a really good diagram which shows what happens to the brain, to the neurotransmitters and the neural pathways when you begin to work with mushrooms. So if you imagine the picture on the left, maybe has say 6 or 7 lines on it between these different neural transmitters, and I hope I'm saying that right, neurotransmitters. And then the picture on the right, there's basically like 3 times as many lines lit up. So basically what it shows is that when you're microdosing, it's working on the brain. And the thing is when you're microdosing as well, like, you don't feel it through the day necessarily. So it's not like you're out there, seeing things and, hallucinating. It's because you're taking such a small amount. The idea is you can still get on with your day, you still function, you've still got all your faculties about you. You can still do everything that you would in a day when you're non-microdosing. So that's sort of the idea behind it, that you can carry on, you can carry on working, you can carry on looking after your kids, because it's not enough to take you out there, but it's enough to have an effect on your brain, your creativity, etc. So like I said, there's different ways that you can do it as well. So some people do 3 days on, 3 days off, 4 days on, 4 days off, 5 days on, 5 days off. It completely depends on your own rhythm, what you feel. My advice when I'm working with people who are choosing to microdose is always, to work intuitively, and just be like, right, do I feel like I want to microdose today? Rather than going, oh, I've missed my microdose and da-da-da. It's not about that. It's about learning to work with the medicine, and allowing it to work with you as well. So there's different ways that you can also microdose. So one way is through capsules. So you can get capsules which are pre-measured, so at least you're taking the same dose every day. You can choose to, if you have some raw, you can measure them out every day for yourself and then either eat them or take them in a tea, etc. So they're the 2 ways that I know of microdose, and there may be other ways, and if you know other ways, then feel free to stick them in the comments. I was going to say, I suppose you could do a tincture as well, and I have seen some turkey tail tinctures which have been made where you can just put a couple of drops under your tongue, and again microdose that way. But I haven't tried that one, so yeah. I would always recommend, if you're on other medication, to have a conversation with your GP or your medical practitioner as well beforehand, because the mushrooms can act a bit like as a stimulant. So it's always worth checking if you're on medication and asking you know, I'm not a doctor, and by no means I'm telling you to go out and start microdosing, you know, but I did have one friend of mine ask me, you know, do you think it's okay for me to do it? And when I looked into it, there was some contraindications, and I was like, for me, I said I would be happier if you go and speak to your doctor first, and then if you feel something you want to do, then you can come back and we can discuss it, etc. So just be aware that if there is anything that you might be on, just see if there's, you know, and to be fair, like, the research is very limited at the minute, but it's not worth putting your, like, compromising your health for. So they're the different ways that you can take it. Now, the benefits, there's meant to be many. So I started microdosing, I think it was last February time now. I've completely lost track with this last year. I'm like, I don't know what's this year or last year anymore. So if my timelines are out, then I do apologise, but honestly, I haven't got a freaking clue anymore. But I microdosed for about 3 months, and it was over the winter period, so it was between sort of like the February, March coming into the summer. And what I found was that my creativity went up. So I was writing, you know, I was writing some awesome poems about mushrooms and channeling these brilliant insights into just channeling these beautiful poems all about nature and connection, which I'm going to be putting in my next book. And then I felt calmer. I felt like I was more relaxed. I felt like there were certain habits and ways of doing things which I didn't need to do, but I'd been doing for so long to become this ingrained habit, that fell by the wayside. I stopped drinking alcohol for that period of time. And yeah, there is a lot of different benefits, but again, it's like, you know, we're sort of like guinea pigs really when we're doing this, because we're waiting for the research to catch up. But, you know, obviously with everything that's going on right now, everyone is looking for a way to better their well-being or their mental health, etc. The other thing I do want to say as well, in terms of like not only the mushrooms but other psychedelics as well, is that they are merely a tool, like one tool, which may be of benefit to you. Working with like the mushrooms in conjunction with meditations, mindfulness, journaling, all that sort of stuff, having a support group is likely to get you more benefits than if you just decide to take the mushrooms by themselves, or whether you decide to microdose by yourself. So I do highly recommend that you have some other support or framework or whatever that looks like in place if and when you do decide to start microdosing. So like I said, you know, I've been working with a group of about 30 people over this last year who have chosen a microdose, and, you know, we've done Zoom calls, we've been in a private group together, etc. So it's been really nice to see sort of, you know, how people have come on, the work that they're doing. And the thing is when you're microdosing as well, you might find that there's stuff that comes up for you which you've maybe tried to repress. So there might be stuff, you know, some trauma might come up, there might be some inner child work stuff that comes up to be healed, there might be some shadow stuff, and it's about having sort of like that awareness of what might be coming up for you to the surface to be healed, rather than just thinking it's like another tablet that I'm just going to take and it's going to solve all my problems and cure everything, because that's not the way, for me, that plant medicine works. It's like you have to be willing to say, right, this is something that I'm committing to. I want to, you know, I want to help my well-being, I want to help my mental state, etc. You know, but there's also that other work to do alongside it. So taking the mushrooms by themselves or microdosing by itself may have benefits. It may have physical benefits or psychological benefits, but for me, I feel like when you're microdosing, you want to be doing some extra work as well to really get the benefits of doing it. And the really good thing that I also do like about microdosing is that it's not addictive. So you don't get to the point where you're like, oh my god, I need to microdose, you know, that doesn't even register in your brain. It doesn't feel like an addictive plant medicine, I want to say. So yeah, so they're sort of like, I think, the main things that I would talk about when when it comes to microdosing. If you do have any other questions, feel free to just stick them in the comments, and I will I can't even talk today. I'm happy to make another video around microdosing psilocybin. If that is something that you would like to see, or if you want any more information, then do feel free to check out my website, or drop me a message. So I hope wherever you are, the storm is not battering you too much. We've got a storm here today, and yeah, it's a little bit rocky, but we'll be fine. So yeah, anyway, enjoy your day, and if you decide to start microdosing, let me know, and if you've got any questions on it, also let me know. See you later.